Hello, and welcome to another Moments with the Master. We have been looking at moments in the life of Jesus as he interacted with the apostles and had such a lasting influence upon them for the remainder of their lives. We've talked about his returning from Jerusalem, going into Samaria, meeting the woman at the well, and the interactions that happened there. But after a couple of days of working with the Samaritans, Jesus left from there and went back into Galilee. Now, he didn't go right back to his hometown of Nazareth because he realized that quite often those hometown people are not very receptive to a local boy, thinking about all of those times that he just could not be qualified to be, as in Jesus' case, the promised Messiah. So Jesus went back to Canaan of Galilee, where he had turned the water into wine, and began to teach amongst the people there. Now, when word began to spread that Jesus was back in Galilee, a man from Capernaum came to see him. Now, this nobleman from Capernaum was living 24 miles away from Canaan, but he had a son that was extremely ill. And so he made that trek to find Jesus and to beg for Jesus' help. Jesus, whenever he heard the request, made a comment relative to the demands and needs that so many people had, that they just had to see signs and wonders to be believers. But this nobleman continued to press his case, stating that his son was grievously ill and Jesus was needed to help him. And Jesus did something extremely unusual. Rather than needing to lay hands upon this sick person or to be there in person, as the nobleman expected that Jesus would need to do, Jesus simply spoke the word. In John chapter 4, going down to verse 49, the nobleman said unto him, Sir, come down ere my child die. And Jesus said unto him, Go thy way, thy son liveth. And the man believed the word that Jesus had spoken unto him, and he went his way. This man had no tangible proof that Jesus had actually done anything. He knew when he left home his son was extremely ill. But Jesus, the man that he respected, trusted, and loved, and apparently accepted as the promised Son of God, returned home with full confidence that Jesus knew what he was talking about. So he begins this 24-mile trip back home. And it says, continuing on in verse 51 of John chapter 4, And as he was now going down, his servants met him and told him, saying, Thy son liveth. Then inquired he of them the hour when he began to amend. And they said unto him, Yesterday at the 7th hour the fever left him. So the father knew that it was at that same hour in the which Jesus had said unto him, Thy son liveth. And himself believed, and his whole house. Here we find that this man understands the power of Jesus. He said yesterday at 1 o'clock, it would have been the 7th hour, was when this boy was made well. And that was exactly the time that Jesus had told him to go his way, because thy son liveth. What a trust, what a faith, what a confidence. So should we have that kind of faith and confidence in Jesus of Nazareth. I'm sure this made a lasting effect when the news of it reached the ears of the apostles, that Jesus was even able to heal from afar. Truly the power of this man was something more than they'd ever seen before. And their belief continued to grow that this wasn't just a good man. This wasn't just a prophet. He was indeed the Son of God. As we think about these stories even today, we understand the power of Jesus and the need to learn more about him and to strengthen our faith as did the apostles with their association with him. And we would urge you to come and to visit with us at the Eubank Church of Christ to learn more about Jesus the Master, Jesus the Son of God. And we appreciate you joining us today for this moment with the Master.